So the owner who lived here before, I guess, had a tenant and they completely trashed the property, get rid of the pink bedroom. It needs a ton of cosmetic work, but that's what we like. Before I get started, I just want to say if you guys have any questions throughout the presentation, feel free to raise your hand and ask. This whole thing's about you, so if you need me to clarify something, don't be afraid to ask. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Piche, and I help people buy quality single-family properties so they can attract quality tenants, so they can live a quality life. Now, as our common theme you can see here, it's all about quality. Too many investors are too focused on buying cheap properties, and they're buying properties in bad areas, they're attracting bad tenants, and the real estate business just isn't working for them. So I'm going to help you today with my proven system to see how you can avoid doing that, have a real estate business that really works for you. So who wants happy tenants like this? I know I do. The reality is, when you're buying good quality single-family properties, these are the kind of tenants you can have, and they're fantastic to have living in your properties. So what you're going to learn today is why I love these tenants, where to buy single-family properties, knowing who your ideal tenant is, which is extremely important before even buying a property, and what to avoid. So can anybody here tell me some common mistakes investors always make? Shout them out. Any mistakes you can think of?
They rent to the first person that shows up.
First person, yeah. What else?
Charge too little.
Charge too little. What else?
No background check.
No background check. Very good. So these are all true, but they're all really surface level things. I want you guys to dig a little deeper and figure out what they're really making. And from helping so many investors, this is what I'm noticing. They're juggling their life. So what does that mean? It means they're going back and forth from their family life to their work life, to their real estate business. You know, they're working all day, and they're driving to pick up a late rent payment, chasing down tenants, fixing toilets, fixing holes in the walls, all in their spare time. Now, your real estate business is really designed to improve your life, right? So when these investors are spending all their spare time on the real estate business, it's not really a great way to do it. And because this tailspin they're caught in, being pulled in every direction, they're not present. Now, this is huge. And the whole funny thing is that the whole reason why we're investing in real estate in the first place is to have more presence in our life, right? To have our business make us really wealthy, to have extra income every month, so we can be more present, we can relax, we have money, right? It's not what we're seeing, though. But the biggest problem by far I'm noticing is that they're ignoring their values before buying properties. So what does that mean? I'll give you an example. So I'll give you my top values as an example, and it'll show you why I'm buying single-family properties. So my top value, the most important thing to me is my time. I really hate wasting my time. I really like lowering my stress. I hate adding stress to my life. So does it make sense for me to buy student properties, for example, that take up a lot of time? There's usually quite a bit of stress with student properties. Doesn't make any sense. Same with multifamily properties. Now, it's not saying that these are bad properties. They're just bad for me and my values, right? So that's what I think a lot of investors just forget about. They go, oh, this property in Hamilton makes me a great deal. My realtor said it was a good deal. My buddy said it was a good deal. That may be a good deal, but is it good for you? You have to figure that out. So this is a line from my upcoming book coming out next month. This really speaks to me. I don't know if it resonates with you, but when investors buy properties that don't fit with their values, it means that they're willing to let their business take over their life. That's huge. Your business, again, is to improve your life, give you more free time, right? So what there's a way I could show you to attract awesome tenants who pay their rent on time. And from working with so many investors, this is a big fear. They're really afraid of getting bad tenants who trash their property, who don't pay their rent on time. Well, there's a way to do that. And you don't have to sacrifice in order to get it. Who's here have heard that you have to sacrifice now for later, right? Work really hard now for later. That's kind of crap. You can have a good life now, buy good properties without sacrificing anything, right? Like my properties, I hardly ever get calls from my tenants, ever. I just kick my feet up and make money. That's the way I like it. You can have that too. So I bought my first property on my 22nd birthday. Now on this high, I remember it closed November 8th, 2010 on a Friday. Guess what I did Monday? Quit my job. So here I had a property, no job, no income, no nothing. What was I going to do? I started my own business renovating properties strictly for investors here in Kitchener-Waterloo. And the more I started helping more investors, building my database, all these investors were saying the same thing. I wish I could find a realtor like you who knew how to renovate properties and knew how to find great properties. So a light bulb went off in my head. Even though I was self-employed and I was in control of my own schedule like I always wanted, it was great, but I was still doing back-breaking labor. And I wasn't going to get rich being a carpenter, in my mind. So light bulb went off my head. I said, hey, I'll become a realtor. I'll fill the niche. That's what everybody wanted. So I became a realtor specializing with investors and haven't looked back. That's a quick intro about me. So let's get into the presentation. Why single-family properties in the first place? Because they attract higher quality tenants than, in my opinion, every other real estate niche for long-term. Students, single or multifamily, rent-to-own is really great, really high-quality tenants, great avenue, but they turn over every 2 or 3 years, right? The tenants buy them out. So I can't really kick my feet up. So I want to hold my properties long-term. So long-term real estate, in my mind, single-family tenants are the highest quality. Because they're higher quality, they stay longer. And when they stay longer, it means less stress. I can just relax at home and make money. I like that. And again, less stress. So, and they're also extremely easy to manage just because there's one tenant under one roof or one family under one building, right? So it's really easy to manage. They also tend to agree to post-dated checks, and my favorite, direct deposit. That's what I have my tenants set up on. Every night at midnight on the first of the month, the money's in my account. I don't even have to go to the bank anymore. It's amazing. And because of this, my business runs on autopilot. So where do we buy single-family properties? You've all heard the saying, location, 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 right? So where do we buy them? When we are looking for properties, we want to be focusing on properties near schools. Why do you want to do that? Because our tenants most likely have kids, and parents really care about where the kids go to school. So you really want to focus on buying an area where the schools are about a 5 to 10-minute bus ride max, right? Your parents want to have kids nearby. This one's for the parents, amenities. You want to be near amenities. So what do I mean by that? Grocery stores, gas stations, banks, libraries, things like that. That's what the parents want. That's what your tenants want. And highway access, especially here in Kitchener-Waterloo, Cambridge, this is extremely important. Everybody drives cars here. So you want to be in an area where the expressway is close, the 401's close, so really focus on that. So who's your ideal tenant? Because again, going back to this, it's extremely important. Figure out really what I mean by the whole values thing is what do you want your ideal life to look like now and in the future? Is it kind of like me where you want it extremely like low maintenance, low stress? That might be it. So figure out what you want and then figure out which type of property within single family you want. There's 3 kind of different types of properties: townhomes, semis, and single detached. Each have a different set of tenants, and I'll go over that quickly. So let's say townhomes, for example. These are great because they're extremely cheap compared to other properties. You can find townhomes in Kitchener-Waterloo for $160,000, $170,000. I have 2 of these, so they're great entry-level properties. And so these properties attract single people. So single people, the pro to single people is that there's only one of them living in your properties. It's easy to manage, easy to keep tabs on them. There's only one of them. The con is that they move out every 2 to 3 years, I'm finding. Now, why is that? Because they're professionals, maybe. They really want to buy their own home. They're career-driven. So they're not going to stay in your property forever. They might, but it's unlikely. Townhomes also attract young couples. These are my favorites. These are what I have. Kind of the same as the single people, same with pros and cons. The con is that they move out, again, every 2 to 3 years. Why? They're career-driven. They don't want to rent forever. Some do, but most I'm finding want to actually buy their own home. And they attract small families, kind of the same young couples. They're young, but they might have a kid or 2. So they might stay a little longer, but I'm still finding the same 2 to 3 years.
But you want them to move at least.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. So for some of you, that's cool because you get to raise the rent to market value. You can renovate it, spiff it up, put it back on the market. That's what I'm doing. It's fine, but I'd rather not. I'd rather just have it easy, but that's me. It doesn't mean you don't have to do that. But that's a great opportunity for that, for sure. So semis and single detached. These are what I like. This is what I'm moving on to now. This is kind of my niche. Why? Because they attract large families. I'm talking about the kids, the dog, the cat, the whole family. I want them in my property. Why? Because they stay longer. These type of tenants want to set their roots down. raise their kids in a good area. So that's great for that. And they're also the highest quality within the single family niche. Again, we want to be specialists and drill down. And so there's many niches within single family to specialize in. So here's some things to avoid when checking out properties. When I go see properties for clients and partners, these are the first 3 things I look at when I'm walking through. Number 1, the furnace and AC. If the furnace is old, it's got to be changed out now or like in a year from now, think about that. A new furnace and AC on average is about $5,000. Now, the new furnace and AC doesn't really raise rents, right? It's important to us, so they work well, but the tenants don't really care about it. It doesn't matter to them. But if it needs a new furnace, that's $5,000 off the top. That's before even doing paint, flooring, trim, everything, right? So keep that in mind. The roof, again, same thing. A new roof isn't going to raise the rental value, but if it leaks and stuff, that's bad. So it matters to us. So if you need a new roof, that same thing, $3,000 to $5,000 on average. Keep that in mind when you're walking through. And by far, the structure. So for me personally, if I go through a property and the foundation's cracked, or if it's kind of sinking, this is a complete write-off for me, which is funny because everybody says you're a certified carpenter, why don't you like these kind of dumpy properties? They're great to have, it's just not for me. Again, I want a stress-free business, I want to relax, I don't want to deal with crap like that. Doesn't mean it's not a great thing to have because you can get good deals, but for me, I don't want it. So just think about stuff like that, right? What's important to you guys? So here's the bonus. I'm going to show you 3 properties, single-family properties on the market right now, and go through the numbers. So yeah, go check out your packages. They're all in there. I'll go through it with you now. So I'm showing you real deals. And I'm saying when you're an expert, they're easy to find. Everybody's always asking me, how do you find cash flowing single-family properties? I found this last night in 10 minutes of looking on MLS. Just because I know what I'm looking for, I've done this over and over again. It's extremely easy. So let's check one out. 138 Massey Drive on the market right now. Purchase price is $228,500. Down payment 20% down, $45,700. Renovations I estimated about $7,000. I just looked at the pictures quickly. It's just the cosmetics, floor paint, trim, for example, $7,000. Closing costs $1,375. That's on my lawyer charges. Land transfer on this is $2,010. Inspection $500, and a sleep at night fund of $1,350. Who knows what a sleep at night fund is? Anybody? Sleep at night fund is exactly what it sounds like. You put it 1 month's rent into your property's account on day 1. So a good way to do it is every property you buy should have a separate bank account, right? Keeps everything nice and neat. It's easy to follow where income and expenses are going from. So when you buy a property, it's a good idea to always put 1 month's rent right into that account. Just for the future, if the furnace breaks in 3 years from now, you have some cash. You don't look stupid asking a joint venture partner for more money. You already have it, right? So total investment, the right way on this property, is $57,935. Let's look at the monthly expenses, which is the most important part. Mortgage payment is $820. That's with 20% down, 3.5% interest rate over 30 years. So 3.5% interest rate is conservative. You can still get mortgages right now for 3 or 3.2, but let's use 3.5 because we're conservative, right? Property tax is $188.83. Insurance on this property is $50 a month. Property manager is $80 a month. 5% maintenance and 5% vacancy of $67.50. Who knows what those funds are? 5% maintenance, 5% vacancy? They're exactly what they sound like, maintenance and vacancy. Every month, we're putting aside 10% of our rent into that same bank account where that sleep at night fund is in case something happens. So we're stashing whatever that is, $130 a month away, right? Total expenses, $1,274.68. Our rent on this property is $1,350. Total cash flow is $75.32 a month. Who would buy this property? I would, all day long. But it's actually more than that. Your cash flow is actually $210.32, taking into account the 5% maintenance and vacancy. That's still real cash flow. But the real cash flow is $75. That's great. I'd buy that all day. Pioneer Drive, a townhome. This is my neck of the woods. Dune, Kitchener. I love Dune, Kitchener. Buy these properties all the time. Purchase price of $166,900. Down payment $33,000. Renovation $0. This property is totally pimped out. It's ready to go. I guarantee you'd find a tenant even before it closed. It's awesome. All the cost in, total investment is $37,849. Monthly cost, same breakdown. I forgot the condo fees in there, but they're in there. I just forgot to put them in there. But total expenses, $1,219. Monthly rent, $1,250. This property only cash flows $30. Who would buy this property? I would. It's boring, it's easy, it's gonna attract great tenants. I don't care. Real cash flow, though, is $155, taking into account maintenance and vacancy. That's okay. I have 2 of these kind of things. It's awesome. Another semi in Kitchener. $219, all cost in, $61,130. Monthly cost, same breakdown, $1,350 rent. Our cash flow is $126. Huge cash flow for a single family. Who'd buy this property? Me too. That's the end of my presentation. It's real quick. If you guys have any questions that you didn't get to ask me today, shoot me an email at matt@vancoregroup.com. And don't forget to get a copy of my book, Single Family Investing Made Simple. It's a free ebook you get on my website, kwpropertypro.com, or even better yet, there's a survey in your packages to say how we did tonight. If you throw your email on the bottom of there, I'll send you my book right away. No catches, no spam, just the book. You also get my report, Real Estate Investing in Real Life. It's on the website. I have a webinar series. Check those out. I have hours of YouTube video tips. Check those out. But by far, my biggest prize coming up is my new book coming out next month, Real Estate Investor's Handbook to Freedom. This has got everything to make money sitting on your butt. It's awesome. Check it out in about a month at fasttrackwealthacademy.com. That's it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Put your money in that real estate. I put my money in that real estate. I put my money in that real estate. I'm from Georgia, that's the real estate. I'm feeling like New